Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the shape of our planet Earth. Now, contrary to popular belief, our dear old planet is not held in the back of a giant turtle, nor is it flat, and it most certainly isn't rotund and round. It is instead in the shape of a biscuit. An ice biscuit to be specific. Now, I'm not going to talk about giant turtle theory or the flat earth theory because I think the majority of the people understand that that's simply a fabrication. Instead, I'm going to confront the greatest myth of all time. And that myth, ladies and gentlemen, that great lie, that immense fabrication, is that our planet of green and blue is round. Our sphere is in a circle. That is the greatest lie of all time regarding this land we live upon. And I'll explain how. You see, the mainstream narrative is that we live in a sphere, in a bowl, that travels horizontally and vertically. It constantly, perpetually goes in this full circle. Now, what that means is if you start in one location, and you go horizontally, you inevitably end where you started. And if you do the same thing vertically, then you inevitably end where you started. So I'll show you how this makes sense in Google Maps. Now, Google Maps is obviously satellite imagery, so yeah, it depicts the entire world. So let's say we start in Hawaii. Now, in order for the round earth theory to work, obviously you'd have to be able to go vertically and horizontally. Now, if you go horizontally, let's say we start Hawaii, we go horizontally, boom, we end where we started off if we go in a horizontal direction. Now, that's fine. There's no dispute on that. But if you go vertically, which is up and down, what happens? You hit a dead end. Antarctica and this place. So if you go north or south from Hawaii, you will not end up where you started off, where you left off. Now, what that means is, I'm sure the people wearing lab coats and whatever, I'm sure they come up with an excuse. But what this means is, to men of a sound mind, is that we live in an ice biscuit. And I'll explain how. Now, an ice biscuit, I want you to think, is an Oreo cookie. An Oreo cookie is kind of like this rectangular shape. It's got a wall, and then in the middle, it's got creamy goodness. Now, we are the creamy goodness. So, in the middle, you can go horizontally as much as you like. If you start, let's say you start in a circle. Let's say you got like a half circle. You got a cookie. You got an Oreo cookie. You start in the middle and you go horizontally. You'll end in the middle. However, if you try going vertically, what happens? You bounce against the outer rims. You bounce against the outer crust of the Oreo cookie. Now, if we correlate that to the planet, you bounce against an ice wall. So the reason this is called the ice biscuit theory is because the Earth is in the shape of a biscuit, and the outer rim that stops us from going north and south is the outer portion of the biscuit. It's the ice wall. And this is historical precedent as well as scientific. I'll go into the historical. There is a thing called Hyperborea. Now, Hyperborea predates our existence. Greek scholars and mythologists and historians, they believed that there lies this planet, or not this planet, sorry, this realm beyond the ice wall, this civilization. So, if you look at the Oreo cookie, we'll go back to the original diagram. If you go over the black part, the brown part of the cookie, let's say that the brown is the ice wall, the white is Earth. Now, the brown is keeping us trapped in the creamy goodness. But if we go over that, what do you see? There's the top of the cookie, right? So if we scale over the ice wall, we go on the top portion of this planet. And the theory is, there is a civilization there, a civilization that is archaic and filled with beings that are similar but not identical to us, that thrive and live there. So that's my theory. And to reiterate, Google Maps, you can go horizontally as much as you want, but you can't go vertically. You hit a barrier, you hit a dead end. That means that there is something blocking us from going north and south. And that means that our planet cannot be round. Because if our planet was round, we could go vertically as much as we'd like, just as we can horizontally. But because we can't, that means something is keeping us entombed within. It's keeping us trapped. And that is the ice wall. So ladies and gentlemen, I think it's been confirmed. We live in an ice biscuit. We live in a paradigm that keeps us trapped. And although we thrive in the green and blue, there is more beyond the icy sheets of the hail. And yeah, I want you to take that away, and I want you to think to yourself, why has the government been lying to you?